What is up?
Hey, Mark. How was your day today?
My day was different than what I've usually been doing on doing this job. Instead, I was focusing a lot on the blog posts and also focusing a lot on we're actually rewriting Lost at 30,000 Feet.
Yeah, so Lost at 30,000 Feet is a book I wrote, navigating the digital business growth landscape.
Yes.
And I wrote it because I was frustrated. Did we talk about this already on this?
I don't think so.
Okay, so I wrote it because I was speaking at a lot of events, and I would go and I would speak at an event with a bunch of business owners, and they kept coming up to me afterward like I somehow shared some magic with them that was mystical, and I'm like, this stuff has been around for years, and they just weren't integrating it. And it frustrated me because I felt like, why are people so against learning new technologies they don't understand? Because that's what's happening. But people,
Yeah.
CEOs especially, get terrified when they feel like they don't know something. So they often will back away from it.
Which is kind of interesting if you think about it, because you would think that if they're terrified of not knowing something, then they'll want to dig in.
They don't
want
to be found out by their team that they don't know.
Yeah.
I don't have that. I don't deal with that personally.
Well, you also have a really good team here who kind of helps you,
Yeah.
helps tell you what the new things are.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I used to be the one to come up with the new things.
Exactly.
Now,
Yeah.
yeah. So
No, you still come up with stuff for sure.
Oh yeah. So half the stuff we build is
Exactly. Yeah.
But so we want to obviously rewrite this book because it was written many years ago.
Yeah.
And
when AI wasn't really a thing.
right. So I said, hey, Mark, let's build an AI that can take my book chapter by chapter and rewrite it and update it. So I haven't even talked to you about it yet. So this is the first time hearing about it. And by the way, we have literally 13 minutes. So this is going to be a quicker one than normal. But yeah. So what are you doing?
So what I started it out by basically building a prompt saying, hey, you are this is the high level goal. We have a book that was written years ago before AI was the thing. It's about this and that and this and that. And then I also said that I also put in the foreword by Ryan Dice because that kind of helped integrate like what the book actually was. And so after it read that and understood that, then I said, now I want to change it to still use the same ideas and the principles, but each chapter goes section by section and implementing AI and the new framework and the new type of systems that we use to then update the book and I guess call it maybe Lost at 30,000 Feet AI version or AI edition, or who knows? There's endless possibilities.
New and improved.
But so I've been doing that section by section. I started out, full transparency real quick, I started out with just saying introduction because I gave it the PDF of the whole book. I just said introduction and it did it right. And it actually knew how to pull the introduction out from the PDF and rewrote it, and it was great. Then I did it with other sections, and it didn't do it. And so ever since then, just to get it, going with the flow and having the bot actually experience, what it needs to do. I've been just copy and pasting this section by section into the prompt, and then saying this is the section I want to change, instead of having it try to go back and just pull it, just in case it pulls the wrong ones or whatever. And so I'll figure that out eventually. But yeah, it's been going really good.
How many chapters did you get done?
I'd like to say 4.
Okay.
So I'm about 50 pages in.
Very cool.
And it's a 300-page book.
Yeah. So this goes to show, though, one of the things that we can help our clients do, or you can do on your own if you want to figure it out, is you can, instantly. You could make sure you could write a bot that would go to every page on your website and read it and make sure that it's not outdated with information, and then update it and add an updated on node at the top, just
Yeah.
as an example.
Exactly.
And that's something we pay people to
Yeah,
do that
exactly.
now you can create technology that automates it.
Yeah, it's so cool. The possibilities are endless. You can literally make it do anything. You can put in a transcript or not even a transcript, just a book that was written in, I don't know, the 1970s.
Yeah.
Because obviously, the way we speak is a little different.
Mm-hmm.
You can put that book into like AI and say, hey, make it new aged with the way that we speak nowadays, and it will go and keep all the content the same, but just change the wording around to make it more relatable to.
Do you know what's funny? I'm sitting here thinking, you're gonna listen to this in 10 years, and we're gonna sound like dinosaurs.
I know, it's wild.
The stuff we're talking about right now is gonna be so outdated and old. It would be like how excited I was when I had a pager in high school.
Yep.
And that was high tech.
Yeah.
The fact that somebody could call a number and put in their number so that I saw their number and I would that's how it worked. So it would come up and it would have their number, and then you have to go to a payphone, put in a quarter, and then you call the number of the person that paged you.
Yeah. What about a BlackBerry? Do you have one of those?
I had a BlackBerry. I had
Were
a Palm
those,
Pilot.
You didn't have to use a phone booth or a payphone to use a BlackBerry, correct?
BlackBerry was a cell phone.
Okay, I see. It was the first cell phone?
No, but I mean, cell phones used to be, a plastic thing that you would unfold, flip phone, and it just had buttons.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And then there's no screen or anything.
Oh, really? No screen?
Yeah, no. Well, it had a little, like a paper
see.
screen.
Yeah.
It just put the number on it. So you'd put the number in, it would put the number on it.
I
And
understand.
you call, and it cost like $1,000 a month, and that's an exaggeration, but it was expensive. So
that's wild.
Yeah. So I tried yesterday to have my phone record all day to replace the Plod thing.
Yes, we were talking about that.
Yeah, so it didn't work.
Okay.
My phone was about 300 degrees by the end of the day, and it wouldn't do anything. I tried to send.
Oh, that's funny.
It's because it had that massive audio file. So we decided to get a Plod. So I'll be talking about that, later, see how that works.
Yeah.
But what I love about that is at the end of the day, it has every conversation that I was in, it transcribes it. So at the end of the day, I can dump that in and create a journal entry for the day that talks about what I did, what I talked about, like all those things. And I think that that's going to be pretty exciting.
Yeah.
I had a meeting today with a guy, and we talked about, he has a construction company, and they get a lot, or they get a lot of RFPs, requests for price, requests for proposal, and they create bids, and then they'll send those bids, and they only close like 10 to 15% of those bids. And it's frustrating, and he believes it's partially because of lack of proper follow-up. And I was like, why don't you build an AI agent that will just follow up? And he's like, I didn't know you could do that. I'm like, you can. Then I was like, why do you have your people creating the bids?
Yeah.
Why don't you create an AI worker that will download RFPs automatically, write bids, and automatically submit them?
Yeah.
And he's like, what?
And it'll do a better job.
It will do a better job in many cases. And he said, yeah, but how does it know like what is on the blueprint? I'm like, it reads the blueprint.
Yeah.
It just knows. So that was really cool.
That is
What did I do this morning? This morning I was working on, there was a big project I had early this morning. What was I doing? I got up early and did it. It wasn't the finance stuff. I did that yesterday.
Was it the proposals?
I don't remember. That's crazy. I'll tell you another thing. Did I talk about the scent thing?
The scent thing.
Scents?
Oh, yeah.
I did talk about that yesterday?
Yes.
Okay, I don't want to reiterate that one.
You.
So I'm trying to think. The only other thing that I really worked on today, I had a lot of meetings.
Yes.
We had an incredible meeting going over messaging and strategy. We have this issue right now where there's this vacuum of knowledge that I think potential clients have. This keeps cutting out. I need a different.
Okay, we'll figure that out then.
It cuts out my left ear all the time. What was I saying?
Messaging strategies.
I apologize if you're watching this. This is what my brain does, and unfortunately, he's my kid, so the same thing happens.
Messaging.
Oh, so yeah,
strategies.
so I was meeting with Steve and Manny and Jonathan and Sean, And one of the challenges we have right now, and if you're a potential client or thinking about hiring an agency, keep this in mind. There's a vacuum of knowledge. That's what I was saying. There's a vacuum of knowledge where when people don't understand what they're buying, they're very much, they just don't pull the trigger, which makes sense.
Yeah.
The problem is that with this AI stuff, it's not like digital marketing where you're going to do 5K SEO. Here's exactly what you're going to get, blah, 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 blah. It's harder with custom AI development to do that because you literally don't know until you get into it.
Exactly.
And so we're working with the team right now trying to figure out how to message this properly so that people can feel like they get value out of interacting with us at first, because once someone becomes a client, we got them.
Yeah.
Meaning they're not stuck with us, meaning they want to be with us. So we don't do long-term contracts in almost all of our stuff. So when a client comes on, they can leave whenever they want.
Yeah.
They can choose when to break up, so to speak. So we have to do a better job of making sure that what we provide for them up front. So it was a great meeting where, we broke that all out. But just keep in mind, a lot of people, I think, look at AI development services and they look at it through the same lens as, you're going to go buy pool cleaning services, where the pool cleaning services, here's what we do and here's how much it costs, right? That's what they're used to, I think. Because a lot of the people that are exploring AI, they're not the type of business owners that have hired software development companies in the past. If you've hired a software development company to do a custom project, you already know that you can't quote it perfectly up front without having the option for change orders because you don't know what you're going to get into.
Exactly.
So we have this thing where basically you pay some money and we build what we call a demo tool. We're probably going to change that. But you build a demo tool. The purpose of the demo tool on our end is so that we can invest the time into figuring out if the systems you use, like we talked with a guy today that uses the Edge, it's the construction guy. He uses the Edge, which is a software package that helps them with the bidding processes and all that stuff. Well, they have an API.
Okay.
So, but we have no idea what it's going to be like to interact with that API.
Exactly, yes. I mean, and it just from experience working with other APIs, you can think that it can do one thing and then come to find out through the process of trying to do that thing that you're trying to do, it ends up, not being able to do what specifically you want it to do.
And so these clients, they want the exact dollar amount that the whole project is going to cost, and we can't do that.
Yeah.
And I can't risk not getting any payment and having my team spend, 20, 30 hours on a project to explore. So we have to charge.
Exactly.
So we're trying to now say, okay, I think we're going to actually charge more.
Okay.
But we're going to include a ton more and give them a ton of value.
Yeah.
So in hopes that will encourage people that look, even if the demo doesn't work, we've never built a demo and had it not work.
Exactly.
Meaning had it not be possible, but I refuse to take money from somebody and not feel good about like what we're delivering.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know.
But yeah.
So yeah, I had meetings with the team today. I had a really good meeting with another individual that had that construction company, and that took up the majority of my day. But I did a lot of numbers and things like that today as well. And we're going to be talking a little bit more. Oh, I want to talk about 5K Life for a minute.
Okay, yeah. And then is that...
So we got 2 minutes.
Yes.
Okay, so 5K Life, have I already talked about that on here too? I don't even know.
I think you've talked about it a tiny bit, but...
Okay. So we're going to be launching this thing called 5K Life, and basically it's a framework for life. It's intentionally sitting down every morning and with a significant other or by yourself or with a group, and it's looking at the 5 Ks of life. So the first is kingdom, and that would be your spiritual journey. And each of these, you're looking at input and output in each of these 5K areas. So spiritually, how are you building yourself up spiritually? and how are you actually demonstrating yourself spiritually? Do you have patience? Do you have kindness with others? Are you showing love? All those things. And then the second one is kinship, which is relationships with your family, your friends, your community, whatever's important to you. What are you getting from them, and what are you giving to them?
Yeah.
The third one is kinesis, which is your exercise. So how are you intaking food and calories, and how are you getting rid of calories? And how are you exercising and all that kind of stuff?
And you've been keeping up on it?
I have.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
We've both my wife Jody and I, we've been counting calories. So
That's so cool.
starting to see the pounds go off on the scale again.
Heck yeah.
It's funny how you never weigh yourself when you know you're gaining weight. I always say it like this, because I've struggled with my weight my whole life. I've up down, up down, up down, up down.
I've seen what we call Skinny Dave and
Yes.
Big Dave.
Yes, it's been a while since you've seen extremely skinny Dave. You saw lower medium Dave, but you haven't seen skinny Dave since.
It's been since we were
it's been a while.
probably middle school.
Yeah, and my buddy, I think he has 400 or 700 or something, and I told him, I said, don't give me this money back until I hit a certain weight.
Oh.
And I was 2 pounds away from hitting that weight.
Oh no.
And all it is, you know how it works?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you go on a vacation, and it breaks that's why I wanted to come up here today, even though we don't have a lot of time.
Yeah,
we have to end it, actually.
Yeah.
But so then after kinesis, it's cash.
Yep.
Which is money in, money out. So your career, how do you make money? What are you saving? What do you like? It's just the whole career, money, saving, investing, all that stuff. And then the last one is creativity and knowledge. So that is, how are you? I want to learn Spanish and piano in 2025. Those are my two goals for hobbies, so to speak. So yeah, but anyway, the last thing I'll say is this. So that's amazing to sit down and go through those every morning and actually give yourself daily standards.
Yeah.
But we're going to be releasing, I think I'm just going to put a blog post out about it on our site.
About 5K Life specifically.
Maybe we could actually just talk about 5K Life in one of these and just make it a post. I just want it out there a while. We're not launching it anytime soon.
Okay.
But we're going to have a whole AI coaching platform where it keeps you accountable to those things. You set yourself with daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly standards, because that's it. And here's the really cool thing about 5K Life. It incorporates the Checklist Manifesto. These are all books that were really impactful to me. So the Checklist Manifesto, and I'm not going to get into why, you can look it up. It's a great book. But it incorporates the idea of the Checklist Manifesto, of Scrum and Agile development. It takes into account daily standards, which is a framework of setting daily requirements for yourself that if you follow every day, it will lead you to achieving your goals.
Okay.
And EOS. So there's concepts within EOS that are really good in terms of how you go through life and how you do stuff. But it basically incorporates all these different ideas from all these different books into one thing.
Yeah.
And it's really, really
That's
cool.
awesome.
And I'm excited about it. The last thing, you were talking about how you can take a book from the 70s and blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
So I'm reading Language of God right now.
Okay.
Written by the scientist who headed up the Genome Project. In the 90s, when Clinton was in office, the Genome Project, they were the first people to map out. Did I ever say this?
Yes, you did.
They were the first people to map out the thing. Did I share that I was getting a little confused when reading the chapters?
I don't think so.
So I was getting confused when reading the chapters because sometimes they'll use a word like altruism. Well, I understand that altruism is a good thing because I've heard it talked about in a positive light. I do now. I didn't have any freaking clue what it meant.
Yeah.
And the problem is throughout this whole chapter, they're talking about altruism and altruistic, and they kept using the word. And because I didn't truly understand exactly what that word meant, it was all flying over my head.
Yeah.
So without even loading the book in, because remember, AI LLMs models have the language, have the information of the world in them.
Yes.
So I went in and I said, hey, I just read chapter 1, or I would pause it in the middle. I'm reading chapter 1 of Language of God. Can you please explain to me what the heck this means? And it'll do it. And if it's too smart still, if my big fat head can't pick up what it means, I can actually go, wait, can you lower the education level a little? I'm still not understanding. And what's so cool is I'm reading this super complex, scientific, philosophical book that my brain should not be able to understand, and I'm getting it completely because I'm utilizing AI to kind of, rewrite it for me. So that's
awesome.
That's just super, super cool.
Yeah.
So, all right, we got to go.
Alrighty.
Hope you got some value out of today.
Heck yeah. Thank you for listening.
Peace out.
All right. Peace out.